Hey everyone, it's Chalet. It's been a while since I posted a nail video, and this morning I was planning on fixing one of my nails, and I thought this is the perfect time to just sit down, film a quick video, even if it's just on my phone. Basically, the last few months have been pretty crazy. Me and my husband moved off-grid on a farm. I just wanted to talk through what it's like, especially with long nails, what it's like living on a farm. Yeah, I just wanted to do my nails with you today. So I just did them recently. I don't need to do all of them. I'm just fixing one of them. So I noticed the other day that there's a little crack in my thumbnail, and I wanted to show you how I go about fixing it. There's a few ways that I deal with broken nails. In this case, the tear is right in the center near the skin. And in that case, I see how far it's gone to the side into the nail. If it's not that far, I like to just cut off the edge. I actually did it on this side last week. And basically, that means I don't need to cut down the whole nail, because that's the last thing I want to do is have to cut it down. And it bothers me having like one fake nail extended and then the other ones are long. So I like to keep the natural nail if I can. Another way that I would do it is if it's near the top more and I need to just cut off a piece, I would just builder gel the side of it to make it look like a natural nail. But the goal is never to cut off a bulk of the nail. So I'm gonna show you how I do that today. So this is my setup today. We have a beautiful view of the ocean. I just grabbed some of my supplies here. This isn't where I normally do my nails. I honestly do them on the floor if I'm not filming. But here I have a nail drill. All of these things are portable, so I don't need to plug them in, which is really nice. Then I have this nail lamp, which I've been loving lately because I can just charge this up and then take it anywhere if I need to do touch-ups. Nail clippers is what we'll need to reshape the nail. Top coat, base coat, and rubber base coat, and then alcohol with some wipes. My nails are getting pretty long right now. This is the one that is broken. You can barely tell, actually. I'll have to zoom in, but it's getting to a point right now where I don't want the fracture to get any longer into the nail, so I'm going to fix it now before it gets any worse. I'm shining on the light so you can see, but there's a crack right there, and then there's a small one on this side as well. So first I'm gonna grab my nail drill. I have this bit here that removes soft gel, and this is what I'll use to just get off pretty much just the top layer, just enough so that I can cut into the spots where I'm going to reshape the nail. I usually have a nail dust collector, but since I'm only doing one nail today, I thought it'd be easier if I just didn't use that today. I'm removing the top layer of the whole nail just so I can have a nice base to put on the gel later. So now we've got the top layer off. I wanted to buff the surface of the whole nail so that when I put on my gel later, it has a rough surface to cling onto. Here you can see the fracture a little bit better. So pretty much what we're going to do is cut vertically in line with where the fracture is. So I don't want to go in, which you would normally do, and just cut the whole nail off. But what I'm going to do is go this way, so it's almost straight up from the nail first. And that's what we're gonna do here. Cutting it straight up gives us more room to reshape the nail later. Then with this bottom part, just going to cut slightly diagonal. That's about how much I'll do, and then the rest I'll do with a nail file. So on this side, this cut is a little bit larger, and you want to make sure that you go to the end of the crack, because if you don't, then it can end up extending later even though you've already corrected it. That's pretty much what we're working with. And as you can see, we still have a large bulk of our nail left. So now we just have to shape it similar to the other nails. And you can see I actually had to do this to this nail last week. I had a cut into this side of the nail. But overall, when you're looking at all of your nails, it's not so big of a deal that one of them is a little bit misshaped. So now I'm grabbing just this little nail file, and now we're going to shape this. So I like to go pretty straight with it instead of angling in right away. So my goal here is for where the crack is, I need to get the whole thing away, make sure there's no fracture left. So I go pretty straight at first before angling it, just to make sure this bottom part blends smoothly into the rest of the shape. Now that that part looks pretty smooth, then I'll start rounding this corner right here. Then I'll do the same thing on this side. Start with that bottom part, because you see how it has that chunk missing, like a triangular shape. So I want to blend in that bottom part first. So that's probably the best I can get in that little corner right there, but now I'm going to shape the rest of my nail. And I really like this option because I like that I can still keep the length of my nails. And once it grows out more, you'll be able to shape it in a better shape like these ones. I'm pretty happy with the shape that I have right now, so I'm going to clean it off with some alcohol, and then we can put the gel on top. I feel like this is really the easiest way to fix a broken nail. Obviously you can't do this if the crack is all the way to the middle or very far into it. In that case, I would just cut off that section of the nail and put builder gel so that I can still keep the length and not have to build a whole entire nail, but at least you can save part of the nail. Since my nails haven't grown out much since my last set, I actually don't need the base coat for this. I think I'm going to go right in with my rubber base coat with the same color and then a top coat. I'm going to have my light here ready. Just turn it on 65 seconds. What I like about this is I can just put my thumb through this light without opening up the whole thing. This is a new rubber base coat for me. I've just been using it for the past few weeks. I really love the color. I think it's perfect. So overall, I think it's going pretty good. So here it is, all finished. I think it looks great. I think it doesn't even look like I had to do any fixes to it. You would have never known that this was broken. And that just saved me months of growing it back instead of just chopping it down. As you can see, that was so simple to do. It pretty much only took 15 minutes to do. And I think it just saves you from cutting down your whole nail, because that's months of growth that you worked hard for to grow out your natural nails, and we don't want to just cut them down. So now I'll just take a few minutes talking about living on the farm and having long nails. I haven't grown them out any longer than these so far while we've been living here, but I really do believe that if you do gel nails, especially like builder gel, and instead of just normal gel, I think it's totally possible to have long nails and still play in the dirt and garden and do all the things that you do on a farm, lifting things. And it also helps to not use your nails like tools. So whenever I'm opening a box or doing something where I need to use my hands, I always mentally tell myself, just grab a pair of scissors, it's not that hard. and open the box with some scissors. So I think that's something that really helps me to keep my nails long. Also, wearing gloves when we're working outside is a big thing for me. Even doing the dishes. I love wearing gloves, doing dishes. I think when you do it without gloves, the water just makes the gel not last as long, especially if it's hot water. Another thing to do is make sure that your nails aren't growing out super long in between sets, because if you have, the gel is only on an upper part of your nail, the balance is off. So your nails won't be as strong in the apex as they would be if you were to redo the set and strengthen the apex again. So make sure you're doing your sets regularly. Lately, I haven't been doing them super regular. That's why I've been running into problems with breakage. But I tried to do it within 5 weeks or less, depending if I want to just switch it up. But I noticed that if I am consistently doing them at least once a month, then I don't have any problems with breaking. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you don't have a broken nail right now, but this can be something that you can do in the future. And if you do, let me know if this tip works for you, or if you have a larger break in your nail. I have a previous video where I was repairing a larger crack in the nail, but I think this is definitely the easiest and best way, in my opinion, to save your natural nail. I hope this was helpful. If you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments. Let me know what videos you guys want to see. If you want more off-grid content, any fashion, small business stuff, I can really talk about anything on this channel. I'm open to things, not just nails, but I thought this was just a fun way to get back into my YouTube videos. And yeah, let me know what you want to see next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next set.